the classic Japanese turn-based tactical RPG, finally available worldwide. Front Mission First Remake is coming back better than ever.
Wancers are back. After a long time of absence, we are getting again games from the Front Mission franchise. Though yes, they are not new games, but instead they are remakes. But hey, they are remakes of the good Front Mission games. So the 30th of November, which depending on when you watch this video, might have already happened, Front Mission First Remake came out for the Nintendo Switch, which is a remake of the first Front Mission that came out in 1995, originally for the Super Famicom. Of course, it was later ported to the PlayStation and I think the Nintendo DS. And I have to say, this remake is fantastic. I'm loving it. The game looks really well, especially if you compare to how it originally looked. The Wancers just look amazing, especially when you're in the hangar and you're just like building it up and like changing parts. They look amazing. Of course, it plays well. I mean, it's hard to mess that up. Though I have to say, with the 3D models, some of the fights look a bit weird. It's not bad, but there are moments where you're like, huh. But it's still Front Mission, like it's still fun. Personally, as a mecha fan and as a tactical RPG fan, this game literally hits the perfect spot for me, and it's only $34.99. Not a lot. After playing the games for hours, I have to agree with the message. Wancers are back. And not just that, but we're not getting one remake, we're getting remakes. Front Mission 2 and 3 are also getting their own remakes, with Front Mission 2 coming out sometime next year. Now, before I continue, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. Front Mission's story has a very focus on war. It's set in 2090. The story of Front Mission takes place on Huffman Island, a fictional Pacific Ocean island. We have two superpowers at play in this island: the United States of the New Continent, USN, and the Oceania Cooperative Union, OCU, who both claim the island as their own. So for years, both superpowers have been occupying the island, and it has had a very back and forth with engagement between each other. The story revolves around OCU Captain Lloyd Clive, at least he was called Lloyd in the English version. An OCU reconnaissance platoon led by Roy is assigned to investigate a USN munitions plant in the Larkus district, located on eastern Huffman Island. Upon reaching the premises, the platoon is ambushed by USN Wancers, led by an officer named Driscoll. He quickly ambushes Karen, who is Royd's fiancée, and destroys her Wancer. As the two forces engage in battle, Driscoll detonates explosives inside the plant and escapes. The USN accuses the OCU of the attack, later known as the Larkus incident. But the OCU insists that the incident was a setup. Both sides soon declare war, setting off the second Huffman conflict. The OCU pins the blame of the incident on Royd's platoon and discharged them from the military indefinitely. 1 year later, OCU Colonel Guri B. Olsen seeks him out at a Wancer fighting arena. Dangling the prospect of killing the person responsible for Karen's death, he manages to recruit Royd. With the Canyon Crows, Royd is assigned to help the OCU military reverse its fortunes and win the war. However, as you progress the story, you start learning about the reasons for this attack, at least the incident that Royd was involved, and not just that, but there's more with regards to Karen's death than what previously Royd knew. In all honesty, I like the story, but I won't beat around the bush. The story has a heavy focus on war, military politics, and even ethics. So if that's not in your taste, then yeah, this won't be a game for you. A thing to notice, the story hasn't been touched. Of course, you have two stories in the game. You can play as the original OCU, which revolves around Royd, or you can play the second scenario that was added for the PlayStation, where you play as the USN and get to see their point of view. Both scenarios are critical for understanding the story, so make sure when you first do the OCU one, you proceed to do the USN one. So plenty of replayability here for this game. In terms of gameplay, the game is very straightforward. There's no offer of choices or any sort of deviations from the story. So it's not like there's side quests or side missions that you can partake. You will go from town to town, you will perform a mission, and then go to the next town. When you're in that town, there's like the intermission where you will be able to upgrade your Wancers, you can talk to the locals, and compete in the arena for money. Which I heavily recommend to make money, especially at the beginning. The arena is where you will fight 1v1 against other Wancers for the opportunity to earn money. You will be able to make bets and choose what Wancer fights for you and who you will fight. Of course, this doesn't just give you money, but it gives you XP to level up your pilot. Apart from, being able to buy parts, being able to customize your Wancer, talk to the locals, eventually there's the military award where you will get your mission briefing. Once you get your mission briefing, you're able to proceed to the next mission. And that's basically the gist of the story is go to town, mission briefing, do the mission, on to the next town. The game plays as a tactical RPG. You will control your units and they will be able to fight against enemy units. Of course, this all happens in turns. Each, you have your own phase and then your enemy has their own phase. In the game, the form of combat is through Wancers, which are mechs. The Wancers have a ton of customization, and in this remake, they look fantastic. You will spend a lot of time here tuning the Wancers for each pilot. And the missions that you will be taking. So a big part of the gameplay will be going back, setting up the Wancer depending on, okay, you wanted to be jack of all trades, you wanted to focus on melee, long range, short range, and also depending on your mission. And a big part of this is stats. So each part has stats and they will affect your Wancer. So we're not just talking about weapons, which there are 4 types of weapons in this game. There is melee weapons, short range weapons, long range weapons, and support fire weapons. So those are the 4 classes of weapons you'll be able to arm your Wancer. Apart from that, your Wancer has different parts, arms, body, and legs that you will be able to customize, and of course those also have their own stats and they will be affecting the overall Wancer. You'll be able to create a variety of Wancers. Tuning your Wancers will be important as missions can be considered hard even in normal difficulty. So you might be going back and forth for a mission, you might try out a setup for a Wancer, you might fail the mission, go back to the drawing board, mix it up a bit, go back to the mission. A thing to note is when fighting Wancers, there isn't one overall health. There's actually 4 different healths. So the way it works is Wancers have 4 parts. Each part has individual health. You have the body, the right arm, left arm, and legs. Now, if your health for your body reaches 0, you will be incapacitated. So your Wancer is out, it will be destroyed and it's out of the mission. However, if your health reaches 0 on your arms or legs, your Wancer can still be in the fight. It will just lose movement of the legs if the health reaches 0, or if in the arms the health reaches 0, you won't have access to the weapons that you put in that specific arm. Another thing to note is fighting is, would you say, randomized? So when you fight a Wancer, you don't get to choose the part of the Wancer you can fight or engage. So it's all random. So you can't just like, oh, I'm gonna target the body or I'm gonna target the legs. You just pick a weapon and you just go, and it's random what gets shot at. So that's another big thing. I enjoy it, but I can definitely see people getting frustrated not being able to target a specific part of the body. But through and through, the gameplay has been smooth, fantastic. There are weird moments where answers are engaging, where things just look a bit weird, but personally I at least got used to it. Then you have your pilots. They are able to level up individually, and of course they're able to get skills which would definitely help you out during missions. So that's another thing to focus on, why you wanna sometimes go to arena, not just for the money, but to level up at least at the beginning your pilots. The game, in all honesty, plays like Front Mission, and if you have played Front Mission 1, you will 100% know what to expect here. Though, of course, this version of the game looks a lot better. There's some remixes of audio, so it still will be a new experience for you. But if you have played Front Mission, you will have a core idea of what to expect here. I would say if you're a Front Mission fan, this is 100% a must buy here. It's $40, not a full price game. It looks well, and it still plays like Front Mission. Now, if you haven't played a Front Mission game, the fact that we are getting 3 remakes, I do recommend getting this game, as this is the perfect introduction for the series. However, there is a bit of difficulty in this game, and especially for new players. There will be a lot of trial and error until you get the hang on how the answers work and how engagement works in the game, and also how you farm money or XP. So that's a big thing. I feel if you're somebody who likes tactical RPGs but don't like the difficulty, then yeah, you might want to wait for a sale. But I would say for most people, it's definitely a buy. If not, if you're very unsure about the game, wait for a sale, because this is still a fantastic experience. The story, I feel, is really good. The gameplay is fun, and of course, it's Front Mission. I would like to see more Front Mission games in the futures. So yeah, overall, I have been enjoying this game. As always, it's not just about me. What are your thoughts, guys? Have you tried Front Mission First Remake? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below. This has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.